Hey guys, how y'all doing? My name is Kieran and this is Fox Up RPG. So today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be looking at a bunch of books I have here that I've got over the last while. Some of them have been the last week or two, some have been there for a few weeks, and one or two have been there for a month or a few months. So kind of look at these. I think I'll do a few videos of this every now and then. Also going to talk about later in the video some games I've played recently. And a little thank you. I know it's hitting 500 subscribers, which is insane, which I'm so happy about. Yeah, I think I'll start off with the thank you to everyone. Again, just it's really awesome that everyone wants to tune in, watch what I'm either reviewing or playing or talking about. I'm still blown away by it. Everyone's super nice. Like, it's just so weird. That's the best way I can put it, really. But yeah, it means the world to me that people want to listen to my opinions or what I think on things, or just like when I said, like playing a game, like Gods of the North. It's just brilliant, and I can't thank everyone enough. I've met a lot of cool people through doing this. Yeah, so just thank you for everyone for watching, for subscribing, commenting. I love when people comment. It's just so cool, and interact a little bit, and again, thank you to everybody. So we have 7 books here. So what are these 7 books? Well, I'll just do a quick brief through the 7 books, and we'll go into a little more detail on them. We have Machine Gods of the Noxian Expanse. I've already reviewed this. These is just offset prints I ordered from ACKS, T's website, Blackwood Games. Also got a cool sticker with it. It's from Riftbreakers 2. We have the expansion, the Void Spire Territories. We also got the Evils of Illmire, or Illmire. This is an OSE adventure. It is pretty small, but not small, so we'll go over it now in a little bit. But it's for OSE, so you can play with any old school type system or game. This one's really cool. It's a simple, relatively straightforward adventure for ACKS. Now, I have ACKS too, but this is like 99.8% compatible. Some of the stuff will be changed in here. Some of the names, like spells, and will be different because they got off the OGL. But like, it will work completely fine. We're going to touch on this one a little bit. ACKS 2, The Secrets of the Nethercity. Dun dun dun. This one is what it calls a kilo dungeon, I believe. Let me see, yeah, a kilo dungeon. So we're getting to that in a little bit as well. Now this is for Tales of Ragoza, The Lost Roads of Dol-Karok. This is really cool. I really like this one. I have all 3 printed adventures for Tales of Ragoza. I'm going to look over the other 3 of them in the next couple of videos. A couple of videos I do of these. I might look at 1 or 2 in the next one, and then another one. But yeah, it's really interesting when it's done, and we'll have a nice look at that in a while. Now this one is Barrowmaze. Now this was given to me by a friend of mine for my birthday, which is really cool, really awesome. Now I don't know where he got this. I don't know if he got it from drive-thru or if he got it made. I'm not sure. But it's awesome. So we'll just have a quick look and talk about this. Everyone knows what this is, really. It's, a big mega dungeon, essentially, and it has its own little setting. And the world has its own town and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. And this one is awesome. It's an OSR game. Ambition and Avarice 2. This one's by Chubby Funster. This is his OSR sort of like masterpiece game, and it really is. It's brilliant. I'm going to be doing a review on this, or it might have been posted by the time you've seen this, I'm not sure, but I'm going to go over everything in this book in the review, and then I'm going to do another video, and this is going to be involved. I'm going to be looking over 4 different types of OSR games, and this is going to be one of the types. Now what I mean by that is, I'm not saying that it's the only one you should have, or you should look at, or you should get, or anything like that. No, it's, again, if ACKS is a pretty super in-depth OSR type game where it covers almost every possible thing you could ever want to know or look at, and it can be super super heavily detailed as much as you want. That is, I would say Ambition and Avarice is sort of like a medium style game, as it were. Like you'd have something like OSE or Shadowdark, which would be on the more rules light side of things. So that's what I mean. I'm not saying it's these are the only ones you need to have or look at, but it's the flavor of the game. So we'll just pass this off to one side and we'll look at some of these as we go along. Again, awesome sticker. Now this is the offsets. Both of these are offset prints for Alex's The Machine Gods of the Noxian Expanse, which I do have a review up, which is awesome. The paper in this is awesome. It feels great. It looks great. It's shiny, but it's not too bad really. Some people either love super matte or super shiny. This is I don't know how to explain it, but it reflects the light a good bit. But when you're looking at it, because I have a super strong light here, it doesn't look like it's shiny to me when I look at it. But I can look on the camera there, and it does look quite bright. But it's very good. The paper is pretty thick. It's not fragile. And yeah, like I said, I have a review of this up already, and you know, this is just the off print of it, and the quality in it is amazing. This came, where was it? Last week, I think. So I was able to get this on his website. I think there is still some copies of this left, but I'm not sure. I know I placed mine, and Alex got back to me. He's like, "Was this you?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was me." And he's like, "Oh, good," because I said I'd get her sooner, but then like stuff happened and came up, and I just couldn't straight away. So I was so happy. This is the expansion for it. The Void Spear Territories. It's going to add basically a location, surrounding area, and some extra like character stuff, world stuff. Talks about night encounters. You know, I'm going to do a separate review on this in the coming weeks. I will also have another review for Alex stuff in shortly enough, actually. But yeah, I think I described this as machine and sorcery game, which I think is very apt. And I said that to Alex. I put it in my review, and he really liked this, so I told him please feel free to use it. Machine and sorcery. I think it fits it very well. But yeah, now we have the Evils of Illmire, or Illmire. This is an OSE adventure. It is set in a relatively small area. I think there's something like 14 hexes. Oh, there's 19. Yeah, 19 hexes. So it's actually a little bigger than top. 19 hexes, and they're all 6 miles each. And basically, it says it's a mega adventure in a mini book, which is kind of cool. So you basically there's some sort of cult in the world, and you basically need to uncover what it is and find out what's going on, try and beat it. And there is also a time limit, and the players don't necessarily know what and where things are. You have a bunch of rumors here. Talks about fighting the cult, general notes and details. This is going to be more for the DM side of things, obviously. It has several mini dungeons as well, and it also gives you ideas to add in things. Discoveries, different mishaps that can happen, hunting, exploring, camping. It goes over weather, goes over everything. And this is the campaign calendar. So as you can see, there is 12 months in here. So it's quite a lot. Yep. So Monday, each time of the day. That's pretty cool. Yep. Sorry, I was just reading a bit there at the end. It talks about days of the weeks, what they are, and it's basically just plays on the words like Sunday is Sun's Day, Monday is Moon's Day, Tuesday is Tower's Day, and it goes like that. It talks about the cells are each 4 hours. It's one watch. Non-shaded is daylight, and shaded is darkness. So it just goes on stuff like that. Has a little gazetteer. It talks about information on each hex that you'll need to know as a DM, and also counters and stuff that can happen. So yeah, I got this a couple of weeks back. I really want to look into this more at some stage if I can. It looks really cool. It's pretty. I've read through this before. It's fairly well written. The art in it is awesome. It has that old school feel, but it's still. It looks like it's a modern way of doing old school drawings, which I like. I like that style. Like the maps here are good. I saw this on drive-thru, and I was like, oh cool, yeah, I'll get that. And I was like, oh wait, it was on sale as well, and that's for the PDF obviously, but I got the print on demand and it was a little cheaper as well. And who's this by? It has a bestiary of all new stuff in it. I think it's mostly new stuff anyway. In the bestiary, treasures and handout stuff. So if you want to hand it out, print these off, from the PDF, pre-made characters. Again, if you just want to jump in, and it does have like sort of adventure hooks to get yourself started. This is something I really liked as well. Sort of like a character sheet. You can print this off, but then it has a condition sheet. So if your character is sick, if they're frightened, if they're wounded, they're stunned, if they're dying or if they're dead. So that's kind of cool. There's a nice little index in here and license agreement stuff. So pretty simple, straightforward. Now this is by Spell Sword. I believe these guys have also come out with more stuff in the next couple of this year and next year. I think they had a big Kickstarter there last year, so that'd be interesting to see what actually happens with this. For me, I would like to run this with Barrows and Borderlands. It is meant for OSE, but this will work well with this, as would Barrowmaze. Again, this is like OD&D style game, basic expert, but its own weird science fantasy awesomeness. So just want to say that I think that's how I would play it myself personally. Let me just get some of the stuff away. And okay, with some more awesome ACKS stuff. Don't worry, I will be covering more ACKS in the future. It's just a bit lately I've been a little all over the place, personal stuff going on, and good and bad. That's how life is. This is a great starting point. I was talking to guys in the Discord about this a little bit. I asked some questions, and basically everyone's like, start with this. The Sinister Stone of Sakkara. Like again, ACKS is an OSR type system. Will run with any D20 based system very well. You might have to do a few adjustments here and there, like you do anyway. But basically, this is basically your simple, straightforward adventure. Talk about a little introduction, and this it talks about here. This is for levels 1 to 3. So this is going to be a very good starting thing. Adventure for you to play in ACKS. Again, I have ACKS 2. This will work with 99.9% compatibility. Again, with ACKS 2, they got rid of the OGL, so they have their own terms and stuff. Which, when you get this ACKS 2, you'll have an errata page, and it talks about things and like names of things that have changed. So, and you can figure some of the stuff out that's changed if there's any spells in here. I'm not sure if there's any new spells in here and if they've changed. But yeah. It talks about this is for levels 1 to 3. It's a combined total experience of levels for 8 to 9. So if you have 6 player characters, you can expect to gain around 2 levels. So of level up twice. Well, yeah, I'm doing that brain thing where it's not working. Beep beep beep, not working. adventure motivation tables, a random rumor table, a very detailed area, and you also start off with, I think it's a keep, where you can base your games out of. And it goes into quite a bit of detail. I don't think it's a keep. I think it might be a starting town. I think it's a starting little town area. But then it goes into a lot of detail. There's garrison, what buildings there are, the type of people that are going to be inhabiting it, the gates, the guardsmen, infantry, heavy, the infantry, heavy ballista, different tables here. You have the stables, you have the hospital, you have courtyard. Basically talks about everything that's going to be in the area. And the whole thing with this is it gives you a simple starting area. You can plug it into anywhere you want, really, but I think this takes place roughly outside of or near the Borderlands area within ACKS's own setting. I think it does. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't played this yet, but I'm very excited to. I don't know, there's just something about ACKS. I'm still learning and trying to figure stuff out. They are big books and they can be a little bit overwhelming at first, but you need to remember you don't need to know everything about them and what's going to happen at any point. At every point, I should say. Especially if you're starting off in the early levels. You have nice bathhouses here, and you have different areas. You have domain stuff here. So the domain is going to be basically the area that is under control by the people of the land. So it talks about how many peasant families are. There's 700. Urban families, 111. The marker class is going to be marker class 5. Yeah, it talks about the amount of money and everything that things cost. The vassals, monthly income, festival costs, total domain costs, settlements. And then you have your settlement modifier tables. So generally in ACKS you're going to have a bunch of tables at the end for market stuff, and I think these are slightly modified to fit in with the area a bit more instead of being a bit more general. And this also inhabits like some people and people you probably want to know. You have the guilds master, you have the merchants, you have a priestess, centurion, leaders, quartermasters, and the art is awesome. See the way those orcs are? They're cool. Because I like to think there's two kind of orcs. You have orcs and orcs. Now what do I mean? There's orcs like traditional fantasy orcs. I think pig-faced orcs. And then you have like Tolkien-esque orcs. That's what I like to think them of. There's two different breeds, and they always get mixed up. People always get them mixed up because it's orcs and orcs. And this is the area we're going to be playing in. So this is quite a large area. That's like each hex is 6 miles in this case. Because one thing I like about the ACKS system, if you ever get a page here, I think you can see that. So each hex can be 55 feet, 6 mile hex, 1,032 feet, 1,320 feet, or 24 mile hexes. So each of these is 6 mile hex. So you have different locations around the area, mountain areas, you have different little settlements and towns, buried temples, you have different places to explore. I think these are going to be some of the mini dungeons. Have like a gate here. It's probably some sort of military settlement. But yeah, again, more awesome art. More awesome art. And here's like the buried temple, dungeon 1, level 1. Yep. When it talks about areas of control essentially. So area 1 is Cobalt territory. But there's like I think there's 79 different rooms in area 1, and it's quite a lot, and it goes into a lot of detail. You're going to get a lot of fun and entertainment out of this. Obviously you can throw in your own stuff in here, and there's also like extra quest ideas you're going to be given. Again, this is from Drive-Thru. This is the normal standard printing of this. So sometimes the big spread pages of art can be a bit liney. It happens sometimes, especially when there's a lot of colour. Like area 6, and it goes down to 75 areas, and then level 2 has a bunch more areas. That's it. yeah, I think in total adds up to be around 90 something areas, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of stuff in here. Mutation tables, okay. Okay, I haven't played this, so I've read through a good bit of this before, but not everything. But I'm quite excited for you. Some new monsters in here, new magic items, new equipment stuff. I think some of this equipment stuff might be in ACKS 2, because there are aspects of some of the earlier ACKS books that are being taken. Like I do have ACKS 3. This is ACKS 2, but I'm not looking at ACKS 3 today. But some of the settlement creation stuff that was in ACKS 3. When I say ACKS 3, I mean like they're literally called AX2. This is AX1. This next one is AX3. It's called Keep on the. I think it's the Borderlands book. So sorry if I was being confusing there. And here's another version of the map. This is more for player facing, so at least it appears to be at first glance. And then I think you have some pre-made characters after this. No, I think we already look at pre-made characters. Was there pre-made characters before that when I was waffling to myself? Yeah, pre-made characters were here. There's a couple here. Nice. But yeah, I really want to get into this ACKS stuff a lot more, man. It just sounds so cool, and I'm very excited about it in general. Now, ACKS 2, The Secrets of the Nethercity. Now, as you can see, this already looks very different. This looks more like the ACKS 2 journal, core book and all that. What happened is, I think they updated some of the older books to look in the style of this, of ACKS 2. I think so. I'm not sure, because I only really found out ACKS 2 the last couple months, really, and in any like sort of detail. And it looks like they did change it, but this could have been like this for a long time, and this is the way they settled on it. I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say much about it. But this pretty much starts off straight away getting into it. Like, I think it's page 21. There you go, 21. Locations of the Nethercity. And it goes from 21 to 122, I think. Oh, 116, 122, 123. It's actually more. There we go, 128. So almost all this book is going to be adventure and campaign. And then it goes into treasure tables, new treasure tables. Because the Nethercity is based, from what I understand, is basically there's magic books, spell books, technological wonders, a bunch of some new monster stuff in here, mummy lords. Again, I think some of this stuff is in ACKS 2. I'm not 100% sure. I assume they took some of this stuff as well, and the new character classes, and I'm pretty sure they did take these, like Elven Cultists. I think they are in there as well in ACKS 2. Dependencies and how to adapt for other settings, which is pretty cool. But we'll go back here. So from what I understand how this works, essentially this takes place in a city or just outside of a city, and it basically goes to where something was uncovered, and you find out there's this essentially underworld city that's been lost to time, that no one knows about. It's from the elves or drow of that time, which I think they still classify them as elves in ACKS, and it talks about, it's basically just some whole mystery of trying to find out what's going on, where this came from. It's going to be full of necromancy stuff, different slimes, sludges, undead creatures and monsters. There's going to be tons and tons of rolling stuff for looting, and you're going to use this quite a lot. These tables, I think the table's actually back here. Where is it? These tables for looting stuff. And it talks about there's something like 25,000 worth of gold in these sort of crypts, sort of laid into the walls, which is kind of cool. Locations of the Nethercity, and this is the map. Like, it's layered as well, and how its color code is: white is elevation 1, and it goes down to sludge flow, and it goes by how dark it is. So there's it's a lot of going up and around throughout the whole location, which might be a little confusing at first until you get used to it. Again, I've looked at this much less than this one. I've looked at ACKS 1 and ACKS 3 the most, because I got those two first. I got this there not too long ago, so I haven't really looked at this one too much. But yeah, it seems really cool. I looked over it a little bit, like I said, but not that much. It's quite a good bit of detail. You know what you're coming against. Most things are going to be on the page. The maps are well done, they're well laid out. The colours are nice. Things stand out very well. Some awesome sort of like classical art pieces. Obviously, when I mean classical, like they're done like an old art piece. Again, like the whole world of ACKS, the setting that we have things in, for the most part, is sort of like a Romanesque, so it does have that sort of feel to it everywhere, which is awesome. You know, people like that. But yeah, this one, I definitely want to read more and learn more about it, but I really want to play some ACKS, man. Seriously, it's just something about it just has me. Because like, you can be as simple or as super detailed and complex as you want with ACKS. You can just, you know, it's like, fuck it, we're just going to play, we're going to be simple adventurers, and then maybe along the way your character's like, maybe I want to do trading. Maybe I want to set up trade routes and trade lines. Maybe I'll be a merchant instead. Maybe I want to be a farmer. What do I want to farm? Maybe I can farm some weird creature that's super rare and sell, and raise it to sell for like it's weird properties that can be used in crafting or spell casting or stuff like that. Like here, it talks about a fast kilo dungeon with 20 different interlocking areas. Because remember we talked about in this ACKS 1 here, areas are actually quite large. So when you read this and you think 20 areas, you might think, oh, 20 rooms. No, each area has a bunch of rooms. It's just splitting it up into different locations, basically. 40 new monsters, 26 new magic items, 40 new macabre spells, guidelines for adapting adventure to any campaign setting, and seeds for further adventure in ACKS 3 and beyond. These all go in so well together. The Borderlands one is pretty damn cool. I would definitely grab, if you could only grab 2 of these, I would definitely say grab the Borderlands, but I don't know which one of these to grab over the other, because well, this one's a bigger book. You're going to get more adventure gameplay out of it, but this does have a lot of simple introductory sort of stuff. It teaches the players a little bit. Starts off pretty like, oh, here's some simple modification to the settlement supplies and what you can buy and sell. Here's some very simplified domain sheet. You start off with pretty low numbers and you sort of understand things a little better, a little quicker, which is a good thing. A couple of interesting characters you can come across. Obviously you want to plant your own gameplay seeds into this as well, because you know you can keep coming back to it. Maybe your characters have you've done everything and you're like, okay, cool, oh, I like it here, I want to set up my own like little farm here, or build a building here, maybe set up some towers, some watch stuff, another barracks that we can have of our own later on. You know, that's one thing about ACKS, you can create anything. So as long as you have the money, you can do it. But depending on your location, so say if you wanted to get something out in the middle of nowhere, it's gonna be harder to get that made, because the guys have to go there. You're paying them for their labor and time, but then you're gonna be paying for the food. They also have to travel further. Maybe some of the supplies they have to get to build things are further away, especially if you want some certain stones. It's gonna be much further away. So you can get as complex or simple as you want. And with ACKS, again, with ACKS you can simulate stuff, or you can just play it out as it is. This one is super interesting. So it's Lost Roads of Dol-Karok. It's a Tales of a Goza adventure, and you'll be like, why is this so empty? Don't worry, we'll go over that now in a minute. So yeah, it just talks about the Lost Roads. This whole thing takes place under a city, and it's going to give you the city. It looks pretty damn big. It's an underground dwarven sort of lost locations. No one really knows where everything is, where it goes. It's called like the lost road maps. Obviously, you have your adventure, your research stuff, and your adventure hooks to get you started. Your research stuff is pretty straightforward from the main game itself. But here is the city it takes place under. So this is the city you're gonna come into, and then you want to figure out your adventure hook sees. Maybe your players say they've heard about there's some underground dwarven thing that needs to be mapped out, and they're going to try and figure where things are, because there's going to be lots of loot and adventure, and that's what we're about. We're about having fun adventures and having loot. So here's the map. So we know where things are for ourselves, so we're going to come down, we're going to look around. Okay, but what's in each location, no one really knows. So what we're going to do is, where is it? Here. All this stuff. You're going to be rolling, and you're going to be finding out where different things are, different types of terrain, points of interest within what you're looking at. What you're going to roll up, where it's going to be. You're going to come across some different mega caverns, monasteries, monoliths, moss fields, mud, fungal farms, enclaves, crossroads. You might come across crystal forest, crypts, an old colony. Maybe it's going to be destroyed, a colony of oozes. But it's really interesting. And the thing about this, there's a lot of just rolling, and you can use this for any game system as well. So you have different shafts, you have secret paths, obelisks, and each of these, most of the time, are going to have different options. So like, you're going to roll, say you pick one, or you roll on one, and then you're going to roll again to figure out what it is. So it's random. Bunch of new monsters, and your character sheets, pre-gens, at the back here. And player cheat sheet, which is handy. But yeah, it's really interesting, because like, it's not a big book by any means, but there's a lot of detail in it. It's basically create your own dwarven underground passage place. And then you also have a sort of hex map. You're going to basically cut things out. You're going to find where things are. And then you also have exploration notes. Of course, you can just write this in your own little journal or little book, whatever. Here, talk about the major tables, minor rooms, what's in the rooms, fortunes and misfortunes, which is the dice system that he uses. The Oracle dice, which I have, but you can see here. I've used these before. I talked about it in my solo tools video, but there's also a way to sort of use normal dice to act in a similar way, which is pretty cool. Lost Roads grid crawl, event spaces and what they are, what you're going to be looking for, room complications, intelligent creatures and other creatures. So again, you can still use a lot of this stuff here, and you use your other. Let's say if you're using Shadowdark, for example, you then find equivalent monsters and just plug them in. No problem. And if things are too difficult or too easy, you can just change the numbers around. Or maybe if it's too difficult, well, maybe your players just need to go off somewhere else and figure it out. Come in with a better plan. But yeah, I really love Tales of Ragoza. So we're gonna have a look at the other adventure books. There's 3 more. This is actually the 4th out of 3 from the Kickstarter. But how it worked was, if you got on the Kickstarter like I did, you got these at print cost. So these only cost like a couple of euro to do for me each. But they're still very cheap to get on drive-thru. So you want to print them off, you can get it there, or you can get the just the PDFs. But here we have Barrowmaze. Now I'm pretty sure, like I said, this was given to me by a friend for my birthday, and I'm not sure. I'm almost positive that they got this printed off themselves. But I think most people have know about this. And again, this is for old school essentials. You can use with any of your OSR type system. If I was to run it, I would definitely use Barrows and Borderlands again. Let me get it out. I would definitely use this. It just suited so well. It has the extra weirdness, and the characters and the character classes and that are awesome. So yeah, just have a quick look through this. I played it a little bit, not a ton, just for fun. The mask stuff here, I did like the top of these and the bottoms will have different sort of stories, and I love that mask. It just literally reminds me of the Jim Carrey's The Mask. It's literally the same sort of design. Barrow mounds, you want to break into them. Like, it starts off fairly short in terms of, oh, here's some backstory of the area, here's some of the gods, here's a little gazetteer, here's your starting location, here's what you can buy and find. And you get straight into it. Like, the barrow mounds are going to be short little adventure sites, essentially. You're going to go into a mound, you find it on the map we looked at. Let's go back to it, actually. Where's that map? Here. The map here. This is the overall map, and each location is pretty small. Each hex is 50 feet. So, you know, it's quite small here, but when you go into the actual Barrowmaze itself, you know, these big spots are entrances. You then have ones that are plundered, covered, collapsed, marshes, and sealed. Each hex is 50 feet. It should take long to travel, but then you're going to have encounters every now and then. Then it takes time to break these open. That's where the trouble comes in, is time. And then if you get into the main dungeon, if you find a way in, or your characters find a way in, your players, they then have to map the whole area. And it is a big ass area. So, it's pretty damn cool. I've only played this a little bit, so I wish I could play this way more. I don't have anyone local to play with, really, so that's my kind of problem. So with a lot of these bigger stuff, that's why I never reviewed this, because it's so big. It's just a lot to do solo. Like, I'm playing Gods of the North solo, and that is taking a long while. But also, I'm only doing like an hour 20 minutes of uploaded gameplay. You know? So when I'm like reviewing other games, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going head in and just going hard. Now, I don't always finish the game, obviously, but I get pretty far in, I do a lot, and I get to the point of understanding what things are. And that's the important thing. And here's the maps. So, yeah, like the maps, there's like a couple pages of maps, which is mad. And then you have the random charts that you're going to roll upon, find stuff out, how to do geomorph, geomorphs for random barrow mounds, which is great because then you can make your own if you want to add them in, or you want to change things around for new players or players who have played this many times, or you can just use it in your other games, you know. So, but yeah, this is interesting. I haven't really, I'm pretty sure this is definitely printed off, but I don't mind. It was given to me for a birthday gift, and you know, but I definitely want to get more into this at some stage, because I will be moving, and I will have people who nearby who I know want to play, which is, it's gonna be so cool. There's so many games I want to play, which is the problem. I'm either going to start them off with Shadowdark or Barrowmaze and Borderlands. I think that's where we're going to go. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail in this one. This is Ambition Avarice 2. The reason why I'm not going to go into too much detail on this is because I will be posting my review for this. This is by Chubby Funster. I will be going into quite a lot of detail. So we're just going to have a quick little flip through and talk about one or two things in it. So about this game in general is, it is an OSR game, like I said. It is what I would call this sort of a medium set rules. If I think of like OSE would be a light set, this is going to be a bit more medium set rules and like understanding. And ACKS would be like heavy. But the thing with ACKS, like I said, with ACKS is you can make it as light or as heavy as you want. So I'm just using that as an example. So you kind of get my idea. But what I love about this is, if you've been playing games for a long time, you're going to take a lot of stuff for granted. But if you've never played a game, this is brilliant because it talks about what a game is, what things are, how to use your brain. So when people play, like, they don't know, oh, can I do this? It's like, well, do you want to try? Sure, I guess. Well, this sort of tells you can, like, use your brain, think. Here's a sort of a little example of what you might want to do. You can create anything you want. Like, your life is your own with this. Working with a party. What is a character? What are you trying to create? What are retainers? So it actually explains what retainers are, because a lot of games are like, oh, here's retainers. If you have new people, like, I don't know what that is, and then you might have to explain to them, you know, which is pretty cool. So in this world, it's sort of seen that adventurers are not necessarily good guys, they're not necessarily bad guys, but they're sort of like weird outcasty type people. It is also an implied setting, which is cool. It's not like Shadowdark has an implied setting. Well, now we know it does have an actual setting coming out and all, but it has an implied setting. So the implied setting of this is, again, adventurers. They're not necessarily good guys. So your fighter is actually called a brigand. If you played any RPG games, or if you know what the word is, a brigand is not necessarily a good guy. Sort of like, think of Star Wars, how Han Solo is like a mercenary, a mercenary smuggler. Now, he is, quote-unquote, a good guy, but he'll do anything for money. At least he would have. Different races you're going to have. You have your Dark Elf, Dwarf, Gnome, Hobgoblin, Human. And then you have your... that's your Civilized races, sorry. And then you have your Barbaric races. Elf, Goblin, Halfling, Lizard Folk, and Orc. So it sort of goes up with what the race is, how they're going to work, their pluses and minuses they might have the things, which is cool. Followers, how that's going to work. Now, this is what we said, like your brigand here, he's going to be your fighter, but he's not necessarily just a normal fighter. It's like a fighter rogue. So, conjurer, cultists are cool as hell. So cultists are going to be like clerics, but they can only heal you if if you follow their god, or they convert you. You know, but then maybe you're going to have some, if you convert, maybe it's going to have some negative outcomes on you. You've enchanters, you've been knave. See, not implying necessarily good guy vibes, but not necessarily bad guys. You've a ranger, like curious protectors of the woodland. However, each ranger views the forest differently and thus has unique views on what exactly threatens it. This is strongly dependent upon your alignment, as well as your own personal feeling and how your character should be. I add that a bit in myself. But man, this game is absolutely, it's so underrated. I didn't know about this until I was actually talking to Chubby, and he was telling me he's using this to play Godspeed North. I think Rob is in that game as well. That guy actually, great guy, but nor he's a player. I think he's in it. I know he played some games, so I don't know if he's still in there or not. But man, like the magic system in this. Let's go over the magic now. Again, I'm going to go in a lot more detail with my actual review. Let me find it. But this system in here is amazing. It talks about the difference, like, for dungeons, how you're going to play. You're not just going to go mindlessly into a dungeon. You can research to find out any information about the dungeon. So maybe you can find out maybe what type of creatures are in the dungeon, and you can pre-prepare based upon your character knowledge, survival and hazards and stuff like that. And there are sheets at the back for that stuff, actually. Let me just get them out. Character sheets. So you have your campaign sheet. You have your dungeon familiarity information sheet. That's the one I'm talking about. So information about the dungeon, NPCs with familiarity with the dungeon, and it has Pantheon design. So you can come up with your own gods if you wish. So I mean, it's very complete and open-ended at the same time. His own different tables for weapons, wondrous items, improvements that can be done on weapons and other stuff. So if you want to get an ice weapon or whatever, there it is. That's the cost. And then it talks about what it is. There's fire, a bunch of new monsters, or not new, a bunch of monsters in general. But again, this is an OSR game, so if you have other books you want to use, you can use them very well. You might have to adjust them slightly, or you can just say, we're just going to go in and have a good time. We're not going to get super bogged down with stuff, you know. There's tons and tons of awesome stuff. Like, there's lots of art. Well, a lot of this stuff, pretty much every monster, for the most part, has art. I think they all do, but it's the least for the most of them do. So you get an idea what you're coming against, like a kryptonite. You have a giant crab, which looks awesome, by the way. Crocodile, which is more like a Godzilla-like creature. It looks like in this. Yeah. Chivalric Knight, Chimeras. So yeah, it's absolutely packed full. This, okay, if someone wanted to play a game, an OSR game, an old school game, I would give them two options. I would say Shadowdark or Ambition and Avarice 2. For like strict OSR type game. Now, if they wanted something a little more different, I would definitely put them for Barrows and Borderlands. But if they want a more sort of traditional OSR game, I'd definitely put them this way. But they want more like weird extra stuff, I would put them towards Barrows and Borderlands. But that's neither here or there, just making a point. So let's look at spells and spell lists, because there is an absolute metric ton. Okay, casting spell descriptions. First level spells, second level spells. There's well over, I think there's something like 200 spells or something in here. And then it goes into what they are. It goes up to 7th level here. It's absolutely crazy. And like, you have the crafting stuff as well is amazing. So say if you want to get a special weapon, okay. Or you want to craft a special weapon, or have it be able to upgrade your weapon into a special weapon. So you'll have to find parts to get that. So an example, one that Chubby gave me, I'll give you guys, is actually a good idea. Is, so say if you have a weapon and you want to have get life drain, so it'll drain a creature's life and give it to you. You might have to try and hunt down like a vampire. You can try and get the parts from the vampire and use them to create a new weapon or upgrade your old weapon, which is pretty damn cool. So it becomes sort of like, okay, I want to upgrade my weapon, but I need to get this kind of creature. Where can I find this creature? Okay, I'm going to See if any locals know what's in this dungeon. Is there anything in this dungeon? Yes or no? No. Okay, damn. I need to go to a different place. But wait, they're offering money to get to the bottom of what's in the mystery in this dungeon. There might be other clues in there for other things around in the other areas. So there's, it kind of feeds into the gameplay loop a little bit. So we need the gold to get better equipment, so then I can go off and find this bigger creature, so we can get this even better like parts to make a better weapon, or to upgrade it to a better weapon. This is your conjuring lists, elemental lists, primeval lists, salvation lists, vexation, and then talk with the judge. Goes in more details here. What is a judge? The task at hand. A simple hex map. Sandbox play. Sandbox play. Religion. How you're gonna come up with religion. You can come up with your own, or you get your characters or player characters to come up with something that they want to do. So you're gonna help. You're gonna build upon the world. It gives lots of general advice. This is great for brand new players, but also old players who kind of like take things for granted a little bit and might haven't really thought about things in a long time and just doing things in the same old way. Cultures, how to build a culture, and metaphysical concepts, and it's all done in very simple, relatively short page or two. Ideas, mega dungeons. Like, here's a little bit of mega dungeons. That's it. Dungeon familiarity. How this is gonna work. Troop stuff, like concealing objects, captivity and danger, foreshadowing treasure, like bestiary. Like, it covers everything in just enough detail so you can understand concepts and ideas, which can then help you inform your own world and build upon it without getting super into minute little detail where you could be spending like a very long time creating and coming up with ideas beforehand. But yeah, this is definitely an underrated gem. Like I said, I will be doing a video probably next week, and I'm going to be talking about 4 different types of OSR games. I've already kind of said what they are, to be honest, and I'm going to say it again. And what that video is going to be is Rules Lie, and I'm going to use Shadowdark as an example. Then I'm going to talk about medium sort of rules. I'm going to talk about Avarice, Ambition and Avarice 2. Then I'm going to talk about heavy set rules, which I'll talk about ACKS a little bit. I'm not like an expert in ACKS, so I'm not going to go into super detail. I'm just talking about the concept of it being more heavy set rules. But again, it can be as light or as heavy as you want. But it's definitely heavier than this or Shadowdark. And then the 4th idea is going to be going backwards a little bit. And what I mean is, Barrowmaze and Borderlands is basically the bones of OD&D with its own weird science fantasy, aliens, robots, black powder. You're going to have dragons, medieval European fantasy, all thrown in into this weird and wacky, wonderful world to create something that's very unique and different, but familiar at the same time. So this is like your OD&D OSR game. So that is for me. But I'm not saying like these are the best of the best. Like, people say, well, what about basic fantasy? Or, I'm like, yeah, that they're there. I'm just using these as examples of the different levels of game. Like, this is a very simple game, but there is a good bit to it. So it covers a lot of stuff, but it's still simple. It's interesting. Again, I've been playing a ton of this. But yeah, so that's just a quick look at those videos. I'm going to talk about a little bit of some of the games we played recently. So I've been playing more games with people lately, so on Discord and stuff like that, which has been absolutely brilliant because, like I said, I don't really have many people around me who want to play games, and it's also because my work schedule, I do night work, and usually people, they sleep at night or they game at night, so, and it's usually towards the weekend, so that's kind of my problem. So yeah, but it's great. Began on Discord. We played in a Bronstein type game, which was awesome, called Barrowstein. We started to use this along with some other game, I can't remember, mixed them together, and it was one of the best experiences I ever had in my life, if I'm being honest, in terms of gaming. So much fun, so chaotic, it was crazy. If you want to know more on that, I'm going to just give you guys a heads up. Head to Dundermoose's channel, and myself, the creator Matthew, Ultra American, he was on there, a couple other people who played in the game. I think we had 10 or 11 people actually played the game, and a good few of them showed up on Dundermoose's channel, and the episode was called Barrowstein. It was a live episode, so you can check that out. We go over, we didn't actually go over everything we wanted to, because someone would say something like, oh yeah, I remember that, and then you would say your thing, and then you're like, oh, I remember this other thing. Then someone else would say something, okay, yeah. So I'm going to say what I did now, anyway. So how Steam works is you're each given a character. And I was given the character who was basically the military leader over the entire country. So I had the military at my disposal. I have a lot of responsibility. So the whole point of this game is one of my brothers was up for trial. Now I'm one of the princes. Obviously my brother will be one of the princes. He's accused of using necromancy, and we have to find out if he did it or not. But we also have a bunch of motivations. Like mine was, I want to get him convicted and have him sent off to exile. The third one I had, I'll get to the second one now in a second. The third one I have was get his son Xerxes exiled alongside him, because he is using necromancy. So the whole idea is maybe they're trying to pin them, so a father like son type thing. And my second one was start a coup. I'm going to say I failed at the first two, at the second and third one. But the second one, very interesting. So how it would work, you go into on the Discord, we go into different rooms. You had to go into a hallway and then into another room to like basically travel. And everyone has their own thing. Each have their own plan, how they want to go about doing things. And everyone could end up trying to do those things differently. I figured out very early on that nobody was going to go along with the exile thing. Probably within an hour, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna get that. But I did find a lot of people go into a room and you hear half conversations, and it sounds like they're trying to overthrow the king. I'm like, damn it, that's my job. So I had my own thing. I could talk to my troops. I had it like I think it was like a magic bird or eagle. I'd give it orders, and it would send the orders to the troops. So at one point I gave an order to my dragon. It should stay closer to the keep, because when I summon it, it takes so many rounds to come. But since I had to come closer, if anything would happen, it would arrive very quickly. I also sent out troops, a message to troops: if the dragon comes into the castle, there has been a coup against the king. And I sent another message: if you don't hear about from me in like 24 hours, either myself and or the king have been assassinated or killed in a coup or coup attempt. Now keep in mind, I had around 300 soldiers at my disposal relatively locally. These would take a while to get here. Like at the time the game ends, they were still traveling. Okay. But then there's millions of troops. This is what Matt told you. It's at least 1 million, probably two more than that, throughout the country, who would have gotten this message. So I kind of messed with his game a little bit. I'm sorry. But like, and we had this, like, we went to the final like area. We were summoned by the king. We're like, okay, we need to sort of vote on this and that. But as we did, it all went to hell. So we were getting in the middle of voting, and then it just started going off. We had a demon that was summoned. My dragon came in. Two guys had these like alien creatures burst from their chest. Giant like magical grenade was thrown, was blown up. Basically a mini nuke went off in the room. Like think a Fallout mini nuke. Yeah, that happened. It was absolutely crazy. It was like like all this would have happened in like 20 to 40 seconds, something like that. But it took like an hour and 20 minutes to like go through everything. There was so much. It was great. You could actually hear the breakdown of that. It wasn't actually a breakdown, actually a play by play of what happened on the Barrows and Borderlands YouTube channel. It is very chaotic. You can hear in the chat, it's very chaotic. We're all laughing and trying to figure things out, and oh my god, it's madness. But yeah, I would, if you can, check that out. I remember check out Thundermoose's like sort of interview with us all. We talk about things in a bit more detail, like what we think of the Steens, would we do it again, some of the stuff that did happen. It was absolutely brilliant. Again, like I was there, ttrpg was there, or the ultimate TPG RPGer was there, Hunter. Obviously the creator of the game, Matthew. Yeah, it was so much fun. I can't wait to play more. Also then myself, Hunter, and a new guy on the Barrows and Borderlands Discord. We had a GM-less sort of game, and that was very fun. We played for like, I think maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. This was just a little side thing. We just had to try some stuff out. It was fun. We all played clerics, and we ended up going against the Hydra. It was so bad. The guy Cobalt, that's his name. Cobalt. He's a new guy. His character got eaten by the Hydra, by one of its heads. It had 8 heads. It was so funny. Then Hunter had these wraps, because he was a character he actually had, and myself and Cobalt, we created our own characters for it. So he had these hand wraps from another game, and they had magical properties, and he was able to punch one of the Hydra heads and cause it to go asleep, but inflicted a good amount of damage, so that I was able to come in and just finish it off or crush it with my mace. So that was awesome. But then he ate Cobalt's character, and Cobalt wasn't actually a Cobalt, was his name. He ate his character, and yeah, he kind of did. He decided to leave. I don't know, maybe he just didn't like the taste. It was kind of weird, but it was very funny. But then like 170 gnolls came along. It's like hyena men. Oh my god. So then we were both unconscious at this stage. So they kind of arrested us, tied us up, and we kind of showed off our magical abilities and how we beat one of the Hydra heads, and like we have magical powers, we can help you. And then the game sort of ended. So there's some stuff happened beforehand, but it wasn't much. It was just travel and stuff like that. That was quite fun. Yeah. And then the other day we had an attempt at a siege game on the Discord. It was an online version of a tabletop game. I hope we play it again, because we didn't really have things set out properly in terms of turn order. It was a bit more chaotic, and it took us a while to get used to the controls. But I would like to play it again. I was actually enjoying myself personally. I like war games, so yeah, I hope to play that again. It was lots of fun. Then what is it? This Saturday? This Saturday and Sunday I have 2 games to do on Barrows and Borderlands Discord again. So I'm playing a lot of that game, and then I'm playing my own solo game of Barrows and Borderlands. And on my own Discord I have my solo play log. My guys, they just entered the dungeon, and I have written up some of the dungeon stuff. They fell into a trap room, and they ended falling down 1 level deep. So on the 2nd floor of the dungeon, and they're about to fight some zombies. So that's pretty cool. I have a play-by-play on my Discord if you want to check it out. It's also on the solo play log on the Barrows and Borderlands Discord as well. Hunter has his own. Hunter also has his own channel on YouTube and Rumble, I believe. So I'll link that, and you can follow him and check his stuff out. He's a good guy. He's actually recording his solo games live. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple more games of Barrows and Borderlands solo, and then I'm going to do sort of like a play-by-play of what happened, and sort of show my written up stuff and my dungeon log and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that's basically it, guys. Again, thank you for tuning in for this one. I know it was a long video. Just showing some stuff I got recently, talking about the book a little bit. Again, not in any real detail, excuse me, but just talking about in general what the books I've had over the last couple of weeks. Like some of them I've had there for a few months. Like what's it called again? Oh, Barrowmaze, yeah. It was one. Mine went blank. So about Barrowmaze there for a few months. I just got these from Alex T. I bought them there the other week. Came last week. I have the ACKS books there, ACKS 1 and 2. I also have ACKS 3 upstairs and away. I'll do another video. I'm going to cover more stuff. The Tales of Argoza book that we looked at, that just came the same, I think it was the same day or the day after Machine Gods came. So it was pretty awesome. But again, yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. This has been brilliant. I just want to go over some things, have a little more light video. We're not super heavy prep to do anything, just a bit more light, like I said. And again, thank you for like getting to 500 subscribers. Now it is at 500 when I recorded this. There is a chance that I could lose one or two, which does happen sometimes. So hopefully there's been a few more subscribers by the time I post this, so I won't look like a dumbass if it's like 498. But again, thank you. This has been absolutely brilliant. I'm so humble that people want to watch the gameplay, listen to me talk about games, review stuff. Again, this was just a look at some of the stuff. This is obviously not a review by any means. I will have an actual proper review of Ambition and Avarice 2 next week. I will also have some Alex T stuff from Blackout Games next week or the week after as well. I'll be talking about more review stuff with that. Just want to try and do an upload of Godspeed North again this week and next week. Depending how things go, it might be earlier next week or this coming week and not this week. I'll have to see how things work out. But yeah, that's been it, guys. Again, thank you very much for everything. It's been amazing. I hope you have a good one. Thank you and goodbye.